let's talk Wuthering Heights. I already did one video on my experience reading this book, but I finished part one now and I wanted to give a little update because in the first video I talked a lot about how it was a little bit of a struggle for the first 36 pages, and then I felt like it really kind of hit its stride and I was really enjoying it when last we left off. I am happy to say that the book has really sucked me in now, and there's a few things that sort of contributed to that. And I think one thing is I really disliked Mr. Lockwood, the overall narrator of this tale. We have sort of a narrator turducken going on here, which does happen a lot in classic literature. Sometimes it's because the narrator of the book is telling you a story that they heard secondhand, essentially. In this case, Mr. Lockwood is being told about the past of Heathcliff and Cathy and Wuthering Heights and the Lindens and the entire saga through Nellie. And so Nellie really is our narrator in many ways for most of the first part. And I really liked Nellie as her narrator. I found her very interesting, partly because she is more caught up in the lives of Heathcliff and Cathy, of course, because she essentially, has been in the household the entire time they were growing up. And that does lead to an instance that I find amusing just because I'm me, but basically Joseph is the servant whose speech is rendered, his dialect is so strong that it's kind of rendered phonetically. And I talked about it in the first video, how much I disliked it. Well, at one point when Nellie is telling the story to Mr. Lockwood, who's our narrator for most of the book, she's telling him, about the past, and she's narrating what Joseph said and using the exact same sort of phonetic dialect. Kind of hilarious, because if you think about it, it sort of means that Nellie is maybe doing an impression of Joseph. Anyway, it's something you're not supposed to think that much about, but still, I did. And also, this is really the meat of Heathcliff and Cathy and how they grew up and how the relationship sort of evolved or devolved, really, and how these two very unique characters played off of each other. One thing that people have brought up over and over in the first video was the idea that this is a book of awful people doing awful things, and that's just sort of the book, which certainly seems to be the case, but we're getting to the awful people who are also very interesting. Like, I don't really care about likability or whether someone's good or bad. I just want them to be interesting, and I'm sure I will have a lot more to say once I've actually finished the entire book. But I've been really enjoying myself, and I am excited to see what part two has in store.